Hey everybody, welcome to Kingdom of Honor. I am your host, Zan Manchain Sabunia. Welcome my good buddy, the Honorable Jeff, as always.
Hello.
And we're recording this about 2 weeks in advance, actually, so won't be any modern wrestling talk unless we just happen to sprinkle it in here and there. But we're going to actually be reviewing, continuing our Sinclair of Honor review, talking about Best in the World 2012, the night that Kevin Steen came back to the United States with the ROH World title and defended it against the former champion, Davey Richards.
And cut a horrific fan promo. I mean, it was a great, one of the better promos I've ever heard in my life. Just everything about it. But how can you trash the fans and have those idiots still cheer for you? I'm blown away by that.
No, and everything they said was true too. Where Davey was cheered really well by the fans until we won the world title. They turned on it. They did the same thing to Brian Danielson, American Dragon. They did the same thing to Tyler Black.
Eddie Edwards.
Same
Eddie
thing to Nigel. Yeah. So
Tyler Black.
Well, Eddie got the world title way before he ever should have gotten it. So
yeah,
he deserved to have the fans turn on.
But still, I mean, everything he said was true about that promo, calling them all hypocrites, and they just cheered right. He's even saying, you guys are cheering for guys who people aren't even a part of this company anymore that you turned on before, Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, and they start cheering louder.
Yeah.
Just
and he got cheered the loudest when he said, I said this a year ago, I said fuck Ring of Honor, but what I really wanted to say was fuck New York City. And that gets the biggest pop of all of it. And they're right there in the Manhattan Ballroom, or the what is that called? Did I call it right?
No, it's Hammerstein.
Hammerstein Ballroom in Manhattan City.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I was just
I didn't realize until watching another show that Hammerstein Ballroom is in actually the same building as Manhattan Center, where Raw was taped for the first year or two of their existence. So it's really the same building, just a different arena.
Yeah, what they did is Hammerstein is like twice the size of the Manhattan one that Vince was taping in for the early stages of Raw, when it was just like an auditorium is basically what Raw was taped in the beginning.
Right.
But as far as this card goes, I think there were, and you might disagree, but I think there were two great matches. One, maybe three. I mean, I could possibly go three great matches and one really good match. I felt like the storylines were done well across the board, but there were three matches that I did not need to see, and I hope I never see again. And that's the Briscoes versus the Guardians of Truth, Mike Mondo versus Mike Bennett. And you know how big of a fan I am of Mike Bennett, especially back then. And then Homicide versus Eddie Edwards. I don't ever want to see those matches ever again, period. Never.
Mike Bennett versus Mike Mondo was a terrible match, but I loved that segment from the moment that Mike Mondo came out. I thought that was really great. I thought he was fantastic, getting in, interrupting the kiss and getting in the face of Bennett, and I thought that whole thing was pretty cool. It really was something that when I look at that, I'm like, how did Mike Mondo not become like a bigger deal in Ring of Honor with what he said and how the crowd reacted to him?
Yeah, that is true. I thought that.
I mean, and really, if you think about when Mikey was part of Spirit Squad, it wasn't like Dolph, that was what's his real name, Brian Nemeth, that was like the big guy. It was really Kenny and Mike. So it's kind of surprising to me that Mike and Kenny. I mean, I know they went in the independents, they wrestled for House of Hardcore. We've seen them in MLW and Ring of Honor,
right.
but those are the two guys that I thought would have been big stars in WWE, and they just never worked out.
And it's funny because Kenny was the one that they tried to push first. Like when Spirit Squad broke up, he tried to join Rated RKO and against DX, and he was the guy that they really tried to push first. And had John Cena not stolen his girlfriend, Kenny Dykstra probably would have stuck around.
Oh, is that what happened? That's what he?
Mickey James. That was the Mickey James thing.
Okay.
And then, and then when you see Dolph, I mean, Dolph, I never even saw Dolph as anything when he was, I think he was Nicky, because his real name's Nick Nesmith, right?
Okay, yeah,
Brian's his brother.
Brian's brother. That's right. Okay.
The one in AEW right now.
Right.
But I never really saw anything special out of him. But then after he came back up as Dolph Ziggler, I don't know that I've ever seen a better seller in wrestling than Dolph Ziggler.
Right.
So you see now why he's a big star, but I know that they really did try to make Kenny Dykstra the breakout star of that group, and the whole politicking
and Mikey was always the mouthpiece of it, so
yeah, he really was, wasn't he?
So it's yeah. So it was nice it was nice to see him in that spot. So more, I agree, the match sucked. So what were the matches that you thought were great, and what was the match you thought was really good?
The three great matches, well, and kind of not the match itself, but the story was the Elgin Finley. I thought the story on that was great. I liked the way Elgin kind of turned on truth afterwards, and even before, getting upset with Roddy. I thought the story there was great. The match itself was terrible, but the story was great.
I think the match was terrible. I thought it was good. So
it was, yeah, it wasn't terrible, I guess, but the match I thought that was really, really good was that triple threat match.
Okay.
With Roddy, Jay Lethal, and Ciampa. I thought all three of them were on point with their in-ring work. I'm hoping that this is the last we see the Embassy, because I'm just getting kind of tired of their shtick. And them costing Ciampa the win and all this stuff. I'm just over that. And I think that's what brought this down for me.
Well, you know Dominic Dijakovic, right?
Yeah.
Originally, he was Donovan Dijak in Ring of Honor, and he was part of the Embassy at that time. I knew the Embassy goes away for quite a while, but then they kind of come back, and he's the new crown jewel of the Embassy in like 2015, 2016, something like that.
Okay. So after Ciampa goes to NXT, then Dominic comes in.
I think Ciampa goes to is also on the Indies for quite a while before he comes to NXT.
Well, he didn't sign fully with NXT until like 3 years after he kind of debuted there, because he was in that tournament.
Okay. Yeah, but that was still like 2015, right?
Yeah, and then he kind of became a full-time guy with them. I want to say late 16, early 17 with DIY.
Yeah, he probably went from Ring of Honor to Evolve or something for a while.
Yeah, possibly. But I mean, I thought the match was good. It was the other stuff that really kind of brought it down for me. I thought the match was. I agree. I thought the match was really good. I love kind of like the ending spot where Roddy gives a high five to that barrister guy. I thought that was. Yep. And the great matches, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly.
Fuck that.
That was a great match. You really see why Adam Cole connected so much with fans after his performance in that.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you finish, then I'll.
It was an oopsie. Kyle struck him with a punch that, and you could tell when he did it, because you saw the way it rocked back Adam Cole, and he grabbed his mouth right away. But that was an oopsie punch that kind of made Adam into the star that he is now. That was like I would say, where the stepping stone started, because the crowd ate it all up. They got so behind him at that point. He had an amazing, like, Steve Austin gutsy performance, fighting through it. A lot of the stuff, I was reading a little bit about it after I saw the match, and a lot of that stuff, like when he popped up, was improvised, because he was supposed to lay on the match and Kyle O'Reilly was supposed to come at him, and that was the moment that the crowd went nuts, and they were just into it from that point forward. But the reason he popped up like that is because he was choking on his own blood.
Oh.
So he popped up, and then you saw Kyle's reaction, the ref's reaction, and then the athletic state commissioner comes down after that, and that was the moment that the match took off, and that was an improvisation by Adam because he was choking on his own blood.
All right, so I mostly agree with you on this one. I shouldn't have said fuck that, but it was a great match. But just like the match that we saw with Roddy versus Eddie, I thought the ending of this match sucked
Yeah,
hard. Not that Kyle lost. I don't care that Kyle lost. He was going to lose this match. I knew that going in. But and it's just the same thing we saw that with that fucking Iron Man match you and I hate so much too. It's
right.
You can't have a match where it's supposed to be about who is the best like overall professional wrestler, and they lose to being in a figure four for 20 seconds.
Right.
Not reversing it, not turning it around, not falling to the ropes. That finish cannot happen in a professional wrestling match anymore. I'm sorry, it can't.
Especially even when you look back in the 80s, people were in figure fours for 5-10 minutes without tapping.
Right, exactly. 5-10 minutes, they would turn it around into reversal, or you fall to the ropes. Kyle didn't try to do any of those things. And this is supposed to be a match about, and this is supposed to be about a match about like who is the best overall professional wrestler. He does not get out of a fucking figure four. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Right.
So that to me took it from like a 5-star match to a dud for me. It really did.
Yeah, I never said it. It wasn't. I wouldn't call it a 5-star match. I just think it was great, but more so because of Adam Cole's performance. I agree with you where that ending really sunk it. Because I was sitting there too, going, really a figure four? Come on. And especially, and then it was even more diminished later on when Jay Lethal had a figure four and a crossface on, and had it on for a good couple minutes, and neither one of those guys tapped.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it even diminished that a little bit more when you got later into the show.
Yeah. I mean, I might be able to forgive it a little bit more if, like, going forward, Cole uses that first finisher for a while, and he keeps on getting victories that way. If that happens, then I might be able to go back and read this match and go, okay, so this is actually like a 4.5 star match. But if that's not the case, if this is just like a one-off and Kyle, for him to win with that move that quickly, then it's just to me it's
a waste.
Booking.
Yeah, it's just a waste.
Yeah. I mean, I would have much preferred that they have that same exchange, and then Cole hit another super kick to knock him out, just like he almost knocked him out with the first. I would have been perfectly fine with that, because super kick does knock people out. But for a match that's kind of like a remaster type challenge type of thing, where was supposed to be the best of the best, the best overall wrestler on the world, he can't escape a figure four. That just it's shit. Sorry, it just
the other two things. I mean, that we'll get to that main event.
But you're totally right about that being a match where not only did Cole get over huge because of that blood spot, but then Davey used, or not Davey, but Kyle used it later on against Davey, like and was able to like turn it into his own heel character, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and his heel turn at that point. I mean, he was kind of playing the heel in that match against Adam Cole, but up until that point, he wasn't really a full-fledged heel. But his promo that he cut on Davey Richards right before that main event, that now he's a full-fledged heel.
Yeah.
But and there too, it was kind of weird because Davey Richards was supposed to be the good guy. Kyle O'Reilly comes out right before this match and cuts that promo on Davey, and the crowd cheers him. They're cheering Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, it leads right to what Kevin Steen said afterwards about how, the fans turned on him after cheering him all the way up to his title run. Then all of a sudden he wins the title, and now they don't cheer for him anymore. Yeah,
they really were so into their hatred for Davey at this point that they were going to cheer anybody, anything anybody did to him. Unfortunately, and I think it really has started more at the Final Battle than it started at Best in the World. But
yeah, and I mean, they did everything they could to get him that babyface sympathy with the Kyle O'Reilly stuff, the stuff leading up to it, where his aggression was getting the best of him because he was so frustrated with Steen. Everybody loves to hate Jim Cornette. So his promo where he came out and demanded the match against Cornette, they did everything they could to get him liked by the fans and make him a sympathetic character, and they still booed him.
They did, and the beginning of the match, the beginning of the main event match where Davey hit that running big boot and knocked Kevin through the table, and there was kind of on him at that. The crowd was like really into Davey at that point,
Right.
but once Kevin hit that pop-up power bomb onto the ring apron, from that point on, the crowd was again against Davey.
Yeah, and at that point, I don't even think they were really paying attention because they just cheered everything that Steen did,
Yeah,
including
I think
his promo at the end.
Yeah, I think the only time they cheered Davey later on in the match was when he hit that heel kick to Todd.
Well, and that double stomp through the table.
That's true. Yeah.
They popped there too, but yeah, like when he wrapped his leg in or his ankle in the chain to give the Kiwana kicks and all that stuff, they just didn't give a shit. Nobody cared.
No.
And it's sad because
and by the way, Kyle, your mentor did that, 9 years ago better than you did against Adam Cole this year.
right, exactly. And that's the first thing I thought of too when I saw that. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that was a callback to Davey Richards.
Yeah, me neither.
And I didn't, but after I saw it, I'm like, okay, now I understand that chain bit a little bit more than I did the night it happened.
Yeah, it's just that the chain that Kyle and Cole used was like 3 times long
and kind of dumb in spots.
Yeah,
like this, he wraps his ankle and kicks some guy in the face. Kyle O'Reilly just kind of placed it between his leg and Adam's leg and expected it to hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are differences there, but the match itself was brutal. I thought it was really, really well done. The promo before, the promo after. Steve Corino's commentary during this match, I thought every part of, like we were talking about how the Border Wars match was kind of a disappointment. I think this one exceeded expectations.
Yeah, it was really good.
Really, and this is one of the few matches on this card I would legitimately say was a 5-star match because it checked every box for me. If it wasn't for the fact that the fans were morons, it might have been even higher. But as far as the in-ring performance, the commentary, the promos before and after, it checked every box for me. So I'm easily giving this one a 5-star match.
Yeah, it absolutely was, no question. Yeah, and like you said, Korean on commentary. Like I know that your favorite. I can't remember that spot you said was your favorite, but I know I loved it when Nigel's like, oh, Davey's in a really bad place here, and they like without missing a beat, Carino's like, yeah, New York City does suck.
Yeah. My favorite line was when he said to Nigel, "You're my 8th favorite world champion."
Yeah, that was great too. And I think at that time, Steen was the 9th world champion.
Yeah. And
maybe Steen was the 8th world champion, something like that. But yeah, that was great.
The thing too, the other thing that I noticed, how Kevin Kelly in New Japan now uses my monitor went out. I don't know what happened whenever Yano does something. Steve Corino said that in this match about something Steen did.
Yeah.
When Jimmy Jacobs came in.
Yeah, when Jimmy Jacobs came in and attacked Davey, he's like, my monitor went out. What happened? And Kevin's like, you're looking right at it.
Well, and when I was thinking about that, I'm wondering, is that where Kevin Kelly got that from?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because it was just, I actually thought it was Kevin Kelly saying it at the time because I hear him say it so much in Yano matches that I was like, oh, look, when he started that, and then I realized it was Corino that said it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's probably where Kevin Kelly started that whole thing.
Yeah, and you and I talked before, like, and I told you before that I thought Kevin Kelly and Steve Corino was one of the great commentator teams of all time. And we saw a little bit of it here, but like later on, when Nigel leaves to go to WWE, Steve Corino takes over that regular announcing spot along with Kevin, and they're just great for a few years together there.
He is so entertaining as commentary, and even in Best in the World, the fact that he just sat there not saying a word the whole time really paid it off in this one.
Yeah,
he was just great, just absolutely great.
The only bad part about it was that um, when Carino attacked Cornette, when Cornette had the spike and was threatening Jimmy Jacobs, and then Carino comes in and take the spike, to kick him in the nuts and starts attacking him, the camera just stays on that too long. Nothing that Carino did wrong, just that the camera guy stays on it too long, and we missed the exploder through the ladder
Yeah.
on Jimmy Jacobs, and we almost missed the finish of the match, kind of.
That was kind of an odd spot. Honestly, the only other thing I really want to talk about on this card is that tag team match.
God, that was good.
Oh my God. Two things about it. The last show we did, I was bragging about, well, actually it's been two shows again now, but when we talked about Border Wars, I was talking about how great Rhett Titus was back in the day.
Yeah.
The fact that they won the match with the most devastating move in wrestling, the surprise roll-up. How many matches are won by the surprise roll-up? Probably 90% of them. So it's got to be the most devastating move in wrestling. But when I was watching this, one thing that I thought about was who currently is as good a hot tag as Rhett Titus was back then. Maybe Nick Jackson.
I think the best hot tag in wrestling, and I told you this before. Well, he's not a tag team wrestler anymore, but when is Hangman Page? I think he's the best. I think he's the best hot tag in wrestling when he's in a tag. He was the same way in the what do they call that? The World Tag League. We saw him,
right,
but then also with Kenny Omega, he was a great hot tag there. But yeah, I think Nick Jackson is a great hot tag for sure. But Rhett Titus back then, he was amazing.
That his hot, and this is like the third or fourth straight match I've seen it where I've been like, man, he was all around great. He was a good seller. He was a great in-ring performer. Had one of the best hot tags I think I've ever seen. How did he go from that to what he was the last few years before he got back into a faction with Foundation?
I have no idea, man. I don't understand the bodybuilder at all.
Well, in my first real exposure, because I'd never seen this era of Ring of Honor. This was not, I'd heard about it. I knew what was happening. I knew about Tyler Black and Samoa Joe's run and stuff like that, but I'd never really watched this era of Ring of Honor. So this is so my first exposure to Rhett Titus was him as the bodybuilder. Yeah. This is such a great, I really am amazed that Rhett didn't turn into something bigger.
You know what? Now that you're telling me that, we've got to go back and watch the 2008, 2009 Rhett Titus, where he's like this sleazy guy that's coming out and he's giving his hotel key card to a lady in the audience on the cheek, and eventually what happens is that he starts teaming up with Penny, and then guess who becomes their mentor?
Who's that?
A-Double.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, and when I remember the early days of ANX, they used to do that hotel key thing too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think when you look back at like what Rhett has done over the last, we've been watching what now since 2011.
Yeah.
Their feud against the Briscoes, and then they had that feud against the Bucks, and I'm just every single time I see him, I'm more and more impressed with Rhett Titus, and that's hard for me to say now after seeing his run as the bodybuilder.
Well, what's unfortunate is we're never going to get to see an All-Night Express defend the World Tag Titles.
Really? Why not?
Because Kenny goes to Impact or goes to TNA right after this, basically.
Oh, what the hell!
Remember they were talking about that on the latest Ring of Honor pay-per-view we watched in 2021, where they said that Rhett, this is his second time ever winning the World Tag Title, but he's never got a chance to defend it because Kenny left and they were stripped of the titles.
Joined Scum.
Yeah.
Then he joined Scum. Oh, that's too bad. That's
Yeah.
too
So
bad. But I am looking forward to see his performance as part of Scum. Because right now he's we saw him in the Briscoes turn from that heel character to where ANX became one of the most popular tag teams.
yep.
In Ring of Honor. So right now he's at the height of his popularity. So I am really kind of excited to see how he is as a heel now. So I guess there's that. The one note here is that the Bucks weren't on this. Nowhere on this.
No, I'm not sure. Where they were at this time in their careers. Had they joined TNA at this point?
No, this was after TNA.
This was after. That's right. I was just thinking that was after TNA.
Because when they debuted that one pay-per-view that we watched, that was their. They even mentioned that formerly Generation Me when they were in TNA. So what were they?
Right.
Jeff and Jeremy Buck or something? No, not Jeff and Jeremy.
Jeremy and I can't remember. I cannot remember.
Yeah, I can't either. Not that it really matters, but
no.
What was anyway? So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to not say this was not a great pay-per-view. There were a couple of down spots, but ultimately, I think the 3 top matches really carried it, and those performances were just fantastic. Just fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those. I enjoyed the O'Reilly versus Cole match. I enjoyed the like I said, I enjoyed the Bennett versus Mondo segments. Not really the match segment. And those last three matches though were just after the intermission were just fire. So yeah, really. So I would say this overall was
the Bucks were. I didn't realize the Bucks went back to TNA in 2013.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they were in TNA from 09 to 10, so this was after their run. But they actually went back to TNA in 2013.
Okay.
All right, Jeremy. It doesn't say the other guy's name. Just keep saying Jeremy. I don't see what Matt's name was. Max and Jeremy.
Okay.
So Matt was Max and Nick was Jeremy. And I wanted to talk about this, and now I feel bad that I missed it. But on the last show, when we were talking about AEW and the ages of people and stuff like that, it's like right now, and I'm sorry to bring it up here, so maybe we are going to get a little modern talk. But when you look at the AEW now, and we always talk about the 4 pillars in NJPW. Right now, you would have to say the 4 pillars for AEW is Kenny, the Bucks, because you got to have them as 1, and Cody would be 3 of them. Future, I can see the 4 pillars being Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, and MJF. But the 4th one that I can see is Britt Baker as becoming actual pillar.
Wait. What about Hangman Page?
Well, and that's where I was going to go with is, would you put, because there's really only 3 pillars that really stand out, and that's because we're including the Bucks as 1 pillar. But like Page is one of those guys who I can see in the future. So would you make an argument for Britt Baker being one of the pillars right now? Because she is seriously at the top of the. She's more than just a female wrestler. She's putting on great performances. She's really come into her own and become somebody that people are going to go just to see. They're watching to see Britt Baker. They're watching to see what she's going to do, what promo she's going to cut, how she's going to perform.
It's tough, man. It's tough yeah. I think Britt's got to be there, right? But it's there- it's hard to say that AEW has four pillars because they've got so many draws, right? They've got Cody, they've got
Mox, they've got
they've
Pac.
got they got Moxley, they've got Inner Circle, they got Pac, they got the Bucks. So they got Kenny. So I mean, really, they've got a ton of draws, and they're kind of building around all those guys. So I don't think that they really have a pillar system right now in AEW like they do in NJPW. You know,
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
Yeah, I
if
guess
but if you're talking about pillars as far as being like in the singles ranks, then I think you've got to go like right now would be like Kenny, Moxley,
Cody.
Jericho, and Cody, right?
Yeah, probably. And
And
Future is clearly.
Jericho, you can't. I mean, you can't really see Jericho being a full-time performer for more than another year or two, right?
Well, and when I'm looking at the ages of those guys, you know, Jericho's 50, Kenny's 39, I believe, right now. Nick is 37, Cody's 37. Or I'm sorry, Matt is 37. Nick is only 31. So you could see maybe in time where Nick becomes kind of a solo guy for a few years after Matt leaves. But yeah,
I also think that Ray Phoenix is someone you cannot discount as being a future pillar.
Yeah, and now when you talk about it that way, you're right. There's not really a pillar system. There's never going to be just four guys that they put the company on, like they do in NJPW. There's so much talent and so many draws. Like even now, you could argue that MJF and Jungle Boy are draws, especially after Jungle Boy's reaction at Double or Nothing.
It's such a different type of product. NJPW is built to be month to month of big events, whereas AEW is built on the American style of national television every 2 hours a week, and you can't just have four guys be your focus when you have 2 hours of television.
Very true, very true. And I know we've been critical of them in the past, but like I said last week on the show, I think they do a good job with not oversaturating feuds. Like I know I've been critical and really critical on them not letting feuds breathe, but when you look back at the way that they do it, yes, they kind of rush in every 2 weeks or whatever, but they don't oversaturate us. And I think that's good.
I'm looking at the card coming up for the next. I don't know what we're doing next. If we're going to talk, if we're going to do the next ROH show next. We want to finish up 2012 and then maybe jump back to TNA or something for a while. But looking at the 2012 card coming up, we've got some interesting stuff going on. First of all, there's a new TV champion. Adam Cole is a TV champion on that card, defending against Mike Mondo.
Okay. Why don't we finish up 2012 a Ring of Honor, and then I really want to get back to that 2005-06 era of Impact, because I really kind of want to see where Christian Cage debuts and that stuff.
Cool. And then we've got Scum taking on the team of Cedric Alexander and Chris Coleman for the vacant tag team titles.
Yes.
Rhett Titus and Charlie Haas versus the Briscoes.
I hate to cut you off here, but that was another thing I was
why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep doing it if you can't do it?
Because I actually really do enjoy it.
What does Shane Sabunia look like?
I watched the other guys last night at Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg movie. And first of all, the cast is amazing. But Will Ferrell's character now is this little accountant, and he's kind of a nobody, but he seems to always be with a hot chick and everything. But he used to be a pimp when he was younger. He went by the name Gator, and he just in the middle, and this just reminded me because of what you said. What does Shane look like? There's one line in there where he's just losing his mind and he kind of snaps back to his dark past of being a pimp, and he just blurts out, "Gator don't be talking no bullshit." That's what that just reminded me of. It's a great movie. You got to watch it. It's really, really a funny movie. And the casting is amazing. The Rock, Samuel L. Jackson, Wahlberg, Farrell, Michael Keaton's in it. It's just, the cast is just outstanding. So anyway, continue.
All right. But then what I really wanted to get to is that the House of Truth, Michael Elgin and Roderick Strong. So apparently Elgin has not completely broken with the House of Truth even 3 months later. They are taking on a tag team of brothers. And their brother tag team names are Jake Christ and Dave Christ, the Irish Airborne.
Ooh, okay. All right. I guess we're doing that next.
Okay.
Which one is that?
That's Death Before Dishonor.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And I kind of want to finish up 2012, and then I want to go back to TNA because I was really starting to get excited about the arrival of Christian Cage, because I think that's on the next pay-per-view that we're watching.
We've already seen it. We've already seen his arrival, haven't we? Yeah,
we saw his arrival, but we didn't see his first match. Because you're right. He did come out and cut that promo on the last one that we did watch.
Gotcha.
But I think his next his first in-ring pay-per-view match is coming up on the next one.
Didn't we see him in a 6-man tag? Wasn't it him against him in the 2-3D against somebody, or am I wrong?
You know what? I think you might be right. Yeah, I think you're right. It
was him in Team 3D against Jarrett and America's Most Wanted.
Was it Jarrett or was it Monty Brown? Wasn't Monty Brown part of that?
I don't think so. I think it was Jarrett and America's Most Wanted. It was a 6-man tag.
Yeah, you're right, because I remember that was a table match,
but I don't think we've seen him in a singles match yet in our TNA history.
Well, regardless, we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. So yeah, let's do Death Before Dishonor next, and then finish up 2012, because I think there's only 2 more after that for 2012 that are major ones.
It would just be that. Yeah, this one is Final Battle. Would be the last 2.
Okay.
And then the main event of this card is Kevin Steen defending the title against Riot. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, if you like this at any point, please hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, hit the like button as well. That would be even better than, but then hit the subscribe button, because we do this 3 times a week. Mondays are our wrestling show. Wednesdays are our pop culture show, and then Fridays is Shane's book review. Also, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Kingdom of All.
And until next time, this is Shane saying long days, pleasant nights, and Jeff saying
goodbye.